Live from the 5th floor of Fondren Library on the beautiful campus of SMU in the Big D. It's my mom's second favorite podcast and Walker's dad's third favorite podcast.
Yep.
It's the Mustang Mood.
Welcome, guys. We're recording from the Fondren Library
In front of a live studio audience today.
Yeah,
It is.
in the Outback because we have guest here, Isaac Pearson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's telling me.
Sorry, I don't know why it was like that. Yeah.
He's telling me that Outback
he here?
Steakhouse
Is
is
he
his
here?
favorite restaurant here in the States.
I don't remember saying
It's very authentic.
Very
Australia.
authentic. It's regionally. Like if you look at the names of the stuff on the menu, it actually fits with what you'd find in that area of Australia.
Yeah. And if Outback Steakhouse is listening, the Mustang Mood would love some promotion. So
Facts.
Yeah.
Would you take a sponsorship from Outback Steak?
Oh, that's a great question.
That may be one of the best in
look, I think I would have to. I think I'd be obligated, but I'm sure they have much better things to do than to come and.
Could you put in a good word for some of their food? You know, maybe make some adjustments as their sponsored athlete.
Bro, we're trying to sell them.
Yeah, I'm. It's been
He's
too long.
giving
It's been too
them
long. I need to revisit and take a.
Well, he was
fresh
telling
look
us
at
to make a
food.
great steak.
Wait, so did you go to Outback voluntarily?
Yeah,
Did someone bring you there?
I was forced there by some of my old teammates.
Okay.
And they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I thought it was
I bet
like
they did.
a little bit of a torture trip.
Hey, I
It's
thought.
criminal that they don't have Vegemite there. I think that's.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
Their brown bread is good though, right? Don't they have brown bread?
I haven't had it.
something?
I'm trying to remember which Texas restaurants have the good bread and which ones don't. I don't think Outback does. I think it's Texas Roadhouse.
Texas
Yeah,
Roadhouse.
they definitely do.
With
The butter.
the butter. Yeah, that
Yeah.
butter.
The butter.
is good.
Anyway, to the whole reason why we're here. Walker, do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so we're here with. Well, you got it actually. You know what?
Okay.
You do it.
Yeah. So, as we said, we're here with Isaac. He is a transfer coming in from Texas, and we're very excited to have him. And if you couldn't get from all the jokes that we were making, they are. He's from the land down under.
Just like Yonnic is.
Just like I am. You know.
Yonnic is also from Australia.
A couple of locals.
Sort of.
Yeah.
We need to clip that so I can send it to my wife so she can make fun of me more.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think to start us off, I think we'd love to get some kind of like background on how you got into football. Is football big in Australia? I know there's the difference between American football, Australian football. What kind of got you started? What got you into football and got you over here into the States?
Wow. First, thanks for having me, guys. This is fun. How I first got over here, I knew nothing about college football at all. I had watched some of the NFL growing up. They'd make a big deal about it on Super Bowl Sunday, which was always like a Monday morning at school for us. So we'd try and watch a little bit of that. But yeah, I didn't know that college football was a sport in its own right until I was like 20. So I'd grown up playing Australian rules football, which is like the hardest thing ever to describe to an American. It's like a 200-yard oval field, and to move the ball around, we punt it to each other. So there's an innate like sense of how to kick the ball from growing up in Australia and playing that sport. We all did it. You all grew up throwing the ball, and we grew up kicking it to each other. So played that for as long as I remember, and wasn't quite good enough to play pro back home, but was lucky enough that I could kick it a little bit. And when I realised that there were guys my age going over to the States and getting a free degree and travelling and playing elite sport just because they can kick, I thought, well, it'd be pretty stupid if I didn't try and do that. So
Yeah.
at the time I was working as a heavy plant mechanic in the coal mines, and realised very quickly that I didn't want to do that, but had to stick
What
that
about
out.
that made you feel that way?
Something about the long hours and the dangerous work environment and miserable atmosphere.
What got you into that in the first place?
Well, like I said, I wasn't quite good enough to go pro back home. So my old man, as wise as he is, he was like, you need to, get in the mix and start applying for jobs, get into, get in front of people that are going to interview you, and whether you get it or not, it's going to be a good experience. And I applied for this apprenticeship, and I ended up getting the job out of 1,700 applicants, and yeah, I had no mechanical background or anything like that. I think I just flirted with them and charmed them and ended up getting an apprenticeship out of it, and away we went. So yeah, I began working in a coal mine, underground coal mine at 17, and then finished my apprenticeship at 21 and knew that I had to move to Melbourne to train to become a punter. And yeah, picked up everything, moved interstate away from the family, and began training with the mighty Prokick Australia down there, and with John and Nathan. And yeah, that sort of kick-started this whole roller coaster. And yeah, trained for a couple of years, got eligible because I didn't graduate high school back home. I just went to work. So I went back and did a bunch of night classes, and yeah, became NCAA eligible, and was lucky enough to be offered by that school down in Austin. So yeah.
That school down in Austin. I think we'll get more to that in a second. But since you mentioned Prokick, I think it'd be, maybe you could describe, like, what is Prokick like? Is it like a full academy? Are you going and just training with guys? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful, weird little machine that they've got down there, those guys. It started off with Nathan and John. Chappie, as we call him, Nathan, he was a professional Australian football player back home. And when his career came to an end, he decided he wanted to take up punting, and ended up never playing college football, but went straight to the Green Bay Packers and played all their preseason games, and was ultimately cut for a guy that they drafted. But he came back to Australia and knew that there were plenty of other guys that could punt a ball. And yeah, he decided that it'd be in his best interest to make that work and try and train guys up. And it started off very small. Now I think there's 50 or 60 guys in the main Melbourne hub.
Wow.
Yeah. Went from 2 or 3 in the first few years to, now coaches over here are getting the next guy in the pipeline sort of a year in advance so that they can come in and redshirt. And yeah, it's sort of a, Chappie likes to refer to it as a bit of a pizza parlor. You sort of know what you want and send out a blueprint, and they bring one back for you. So, and John's tremendous. He's a bit of the logistical guru. He's the guy that helps everyone get eligible, helps with understanding paperwork. Yeah, he's the man behind the scenes.
Were you one of the first in that group, or were you part of like the more bigger groups that were coming through?
When I was there, it was about 20 or 30 guys in the main academy. And then COVID hit, and everyone's like, looking for a brand new adventure. And yeah, that really drove the numbers up. And that was an interesting time in itself. We were, back in Australia in lockdown, and it was, curfews and all sorts of crap going on. So,
crazy. Yeah,
it was intense. But I was there for a while. Like I knew that I wanted to study and go through Prokick when I was in, I think, my third year of my apprenticeship as a 20-year-old. And so I began going down to Melbourne when I had time off work and could afford a flight, and go down, train for a week or so, and come back up. So yeah, I saw plenty of generations of guys come through and go to college, and make plenty of friends along the way. So yeah.
Now, is there kind of an application process to get into Prokick, or do they take anybody, or kind of how does that work?
It's I think they're doing open tryouts now. So
Okay.
They do it maybe once a year. You come in and you have to be assessed in terms of an eligibility standpoint, because if you've done a degree before or studied full time, then it can affect how much eligibility you have over here in college. But yeah, a lot of it is just a kicking assessment. You go in there and Chappie will assess how coachable you are, how much leg talent you have, and yeah, whether this is something that you really want to do, or whether it's just a bit of a hobby that guys think that they can do it just because they played a little bit of football back home. Like, it's not. There's often a misconception about punting, and when Australians, we see like the statistics on TV, and it's like whoever it was, like in the NFL will average like 45 yards, and then we do the math, and we're like, that's like not that far. It's like 40 meters. But no one knows that you got to take into account the snap distance and stuff. So
and the precision that
The
whole
precision,
goal's
the accuracy,
precise.
repeatability, everything like that. So when you get the couch warriors that think that they can do it, they come up and they try for the first time, and it can get pretty interesting. But yeah, it's most of the time it's just a kicking assessment, and yeah, if you're deemed good enough, then you can join right away, and then it's sort of how much effort you put into it as the reward that you'll get out of it.
Gotcha. And how did you go from like barely watching the Super Bowl to wanting to be a college football player? How did you like learn more about football, and how did you discover that punting was an option for you?
It
in
was
the US?
It was through Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was
Love
playing. I think it was like Madden 16 or Madden 17. I was playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the commentators mentioned Jordan Berry, the Australian, and Googled Geordie, and saw that he was from Melbourne, saw that he trained with Prokick, and I jumped on Prokick's website, called them like the next day. And
Wow.
yeah,
Crazy.
I was like, I just want to come down and have a kick, and they were like, yeah, well, come and do it. So that was the start of the journey. I have Jordan Berry to thank for that, and fortunate that now we're close friends. I'm very close to his younger brother who's now playing at the University of Kentucky. So
That's awesome.
Super
That's
cool.
sick.
yeah,
That
so
is
funny.
actually, yeah.
it's weird, but yeah, I love it. I have Madden to thank.
Madden changes lives. Yeah.
Right. So what was recruitment like? Like did you mentioned that some of those guys like were helpful with the process, like John, and did they kind of like help you walk through that, or what was that like being somebody from a different country and getting recruited?
Yeah, that is. It's very different to what guys had experienced here. So we're like, as punters, we're not under any illusion. We're not the most important people in the team.
Mhm.
So
Until you are in that moment.
yeah, but particularly in recruiting, you're not. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so Prokick, it's their entity, it's their reputation that they're putting out. So they're not about to entertain you for a position at a school that might be available if you're not up to standard. So if a school approaches them saying that they want X, Y, Z out of a potential punter, then they will put forward a small selection of guys that they think are at that level, and you essentially compete for it. And yeah, then if and when you're lucky to be given an official offer, you take it. There's no accruing offers or thinking that you're better than what's available, and I don't want to play here, I want to go play at some school on the other side or in a bigger conference. It's we're very lucky to get an offer, not just a handful. So if
Makes
you
sense.
if you get an offer, you take it, take the first one, and count your lucky stars from there. So recruitment was very different to what some of the guys experience here. But yeah, it's something I wouldn't change. It took a lot of the stress off of me because we don't get the chance to tour campuses, we don't get the chance to meet coaches in person. It's they know best, they know the ins and outs of everything, and who am I to think that I'm a better judge of where I'm going to go to school? It's all great, so why not just enjoy the ride?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that perspective.
That's
it's very
crazy.
unique. It's
Yeah.
very different from the
Oh, yeah.
Americans that come up and you get your coaches to built up in your minds. Everyone's trying to pander to you, so it just creates a very different perspective. Very interesting.
It's very refreshing, honestly.
It actually is. Yeah. No, all the egos that come up with in today's sports, it's just
Yeah, and you just like hear about what all the like recruiting stuff they're doing. Like they're taking kids to Monarch, which is like a 5-star restaurant downtown. If you've not heard of it before.
I don't think he
Texas
has.
is rolling
They
up
didn't
the
take him down
Lamborghinis.
there.
They didn't take you there, so,
But
yeah.
no, I've seen plenty of the recruiting practices.
It's
in the
crazy.
past. Yeah, it's over the top.
I mean, like you said, the school down in Austin rolling out Lamborghinis just to try to get you don't get to keep them, of course, but you get to sit in.
This kid's probably
ride 'em.
making enough money to maybe get one, but
Maybe
The elite
some
ones,
could,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a whole different world now, especially with the name, image, likeness stuff. It's the pandering is to a whole nother level. It
Yeah.
feels like so.
So
Sounds like you didn't get a lot of choice the first go around, but when you entered the transfer portal, did you?
Yeah, that's a
you
good question.
There
kind
was
of do whatever you want, or
there was a little bit more communication on that part because I don't. There was just more factors. I wasn't a green novice coming in. I needed to go somewhere that I was going to be able to study and play football that was ideally not going to be like some small town where there's going to be nothing around. But
you don't want to go
trees.
to Texas A&M Commerce out in Northeast Texas.
Anything starting with Texas A&M is out of the question.
Or just even Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But no, there was a little bit more freedom, but there also wasn't as much opportunity. That's because you're now kind of removed from Prokick a little bit in terms of the current stock that they have in there. It's a little bit more on your own reputation as much as theirs. And was very fortunate that I had a close friend and one of my old teammates, a bunch of my old teammates up in SMU. So yeah, it didn't take much convincing for me to come here. And once the sort of logistics of when I'd start here were ironed out, then it was a clear-cut decision. I didn't want to go anywhere else. SMU was, way back when I was in Prokick, they were the first school to show any interest in me. And
Really? Did they offer you?
No, I was ineligible at the time, and
Oh, I see.
yeah, it was. I just didn't line up. The coach at the time was interested, but yeah, I'd needed another.
Was it
6
Sonny
months.
Dykes at the time?
Cloudy.
Or Cloudy Dykes?
No, it's
Sorry.
probably Chad Morris.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
Could not tell you.
Because I remember my freshman year, we had an Australian punter. I'm forgetting his name, but
wasn't
you
it
may know him. I don't know
Ryan?
his name.
No, because he's.
No,
is he-
Ryan
Ryan was
just-
more because he transferred from
just
Texas
graduated.
also. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just graduated. He transferred.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Prokick is that you don't directly talk to a coach until they offer you. So all the communication is done through the two coaches, and that way you don't mess it up and say something stupid or be unintentionally disrespectful to a coach, because we're not in these situations often, and the relationship between coach and player back home is vastly different to what it is here.
Wow.
So
How would you say it's vastly different? Would you say it's more impersonal, more personal in Australia versus here?
I think it's just a very different relationship. So a lot of the coaches back home are as much of a friend as they are a coach, and here it's
More business.
they've got
More
they have
formal,
a job to do. So
Yeah,
much more formal, and
maybe like more mentorship over there.
and I don't think that there's any difference in level of respect, but definitely a difference in how you approach it.
Sure.
Yeah.
More familiarity, maybe in
Absolutely.
Australia. as opposed
Which
to
do you
here.
prefer?
That is a great question. I don't know if I have a preference, because I think that it comes down to the coach itself, not the environment. But
Yeah.
definitely comes down to the coach.
Okay.
So what's your first impression of SMU coaches?
Love them. Yeah,
That's
love 'em.
awesome.
And I think that's why a lot of guys come back. This team's had a lot of success in the portal in recent years, and
Yeah.
there's an authentic culture of like comfortability, and it's really hard to describe. I love it. The coaches are tremendous. They're always friendly and happy, and I remember like first week, like one of the coaches like waving goodbye to me as I walked out. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, that doesn't happen.
That's cute.
That's really funny.
But yeah, like it's great. The strength coaches are incredible. Position coaches are great across the board. Head coach, fantastic. Yeah.
Do you interact much with Coach Lashley, or is that something? Because position coaches. I mean, I say that because kickers and punters, they seem almost like in their own kind of section as opposed to a lot of the other positions on the team. Because maybe an offense, like a guy like Rhett Lashley, he's an offensive guy. He'll focus. Maybe he'll be with the quarterbacks more, maybe with the receivers more. But punters and kickers are usually kind of
On their
off
own.
in their own. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't have a great deal of interaction with Coach Lashley.
Yeah.
But every time I do get to see him, it's a great time. He's a great man, and he had myself and the rest of the specialists and the running backs over to his house only a few weeks ago for a dinner. So he's a great man, great family, and every time I get to see him, it's positive. I just know that deep down he doesn't want to see me on the field. So he wants me
true.
nowhere
That's
near.
true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Didn't
Yeah.
think about
That's
that.
fine. He's used to throwing 50 points on the board each week, and I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No offense, but I would prefer you to be on the field as little as possible.
It's
But
okay.
I really am liking you.
I've heard that sentiment so often.
You hold for field goals and
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
points. I
Oh,
want you.
never
on the
mind. I
field.
want you
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Perfect.
Never mind. Yeah.
That's fine too. Yeah.
Yeah. But for that. So
That's funny.
So I guess going back a bit, how did you end up at Texas? Or I guess like why did you want to go to Texas? Did you want to go, or was it just that was your first offer, or how did that work out?
So when I was first learning about college football, I thought I'm going to have to buy into something. Like I need to attach myself to the sport rather than being a sort of half-hearted fan of the whole operation. So I was like, I'll buy some merchandise and start wearing that around, and buy some footballs and start practicing in my own time, and Googled coolest college teams, and I knew none of the list. Had recognized none of the names until I got to Texas, and I was like, oh damn it, everyone knows the Texas Longhorns. That's a worldwide sort of brand, and I thought, oh well, might as well set my sights high, and that was the dream at the time, to go and play for Texas, and was very fortunate that they were the first team to offer once I became eligible, and that was back under Coach Herman and Coach Bolware, who's now at Kentucky. That was great. Was very fortunate to be a UT grad as well. So
That's awesome.
What was it like being at Texas?
Yeah, it was good. There's a lot of fun memories about UT and Austin and the city, and it's weird. It's now it's like talking about an ex-girlfriend. It's like, good memories, but not going back. So
Fair enough.
And so you were only there for 2.5 years.
Yeah, graduated in 5 semesters and
Wow.
an extra summer semester. So yeah.
Jeez.
So
So you've got a lot more eligibility left.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
I think it's this year, next year, but I'm not sure. There's some paperwork things going on, as there always is when you transfer schools. But
Yeah.
I think it's this year, next year. But
And what did you study?
I did an undergrad in sports management, and I think I'm doing a master's of psychology here. I can't remember what the actual name of it is, but it's everything
those
I'm taking.
lines,
Everything I'm taking points to that.
Nice.
So,
That's cool.
yeah.
So do you have a desire to play professionally?
Yeah, but the NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah.
So whether that's 10 days, 10 years, or a cup of coffee and a handshake, then I'll take what I can get and be grateful for that, knowing that I've put my best foot forward and worked for it. If if I've given everything I can and they still say sorry, this isn't going to happen, then I'll hang my hat on that and be happy with it. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Would you? How are you feeling about the States versus going back to Australia after you finish graduating and all the the not for long doesn't ends?
Yeah, I've promised my folks that eventually I'd go back, but we'll see. There's a whole lot of this world that I want to see, and I know that Australia isn't going anywhere, and it is really hard to leave home once you go back. So I think the plan is to stay here a little bit and work, and if I can get my next leg up, whether that's through football or through some sort of job, then take that and just reevaluate once I'm finished with football, whenever that is. Hopefully not for a long time, but reevaluate and see where I want to go check out next. Hopefully travel the world a lot and make some cool stories, and then eventually get back to Australia whenever mum and dad are sick of me running around the world.
So are you? I guess we don't know much about like the depth chart. Like, are you supposed to see the field this year, or is this kind of like a learning year? Like, do you know yet, or is there open competition?
There's no depth chart released, but at this stage, I'd say that it's, I don't know, is it weird to say that I'd expect to see the field? But it's
No, be confident.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel confident about it, it's
we got I would assume that no, I don't want to say assume, but I'd say that I'm there, but there's a couple guys that they brought in which are great legs as well, so it's not going to be a walk in the park through camp, but I just got to do my job and the rest will take care of itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm hoping to see him on the field. I like this guy.
That's right.
Yeah. One last question, but we may have more about Texas. But my brother-in-law played soccer with Bert Auburn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I wanted to know what you thought about his hair.
I look.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do, because he's a good kicker, but
Yeah, I love Bert. He's like a weird little brother. He's fantastic. He's great, but the amount of times we see like a fluffy dog walking past and they've got the same haircut. It's great, but yeah, if I had my way, I'd give it a quick buzz like mine. Just get rid of it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's with the helmet on. You got to find a picture.
Oh
with
no,
that
he's
helmet.
right there.
Oh, there he is. Yeah,
He's from Flomo too.
he is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really a Flower Mound podcast as well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, so going back to Texas one last time, apparently.
Okay.
You played with some great kickers at Texas. What was that like? Do you feel like you learned like a lot under them, or do you feel like you're just kind of waiting for your time to shine more?
I think it started as, I was pretty naive and didn't really open my mind to learning as much as I could, and was quickly, something changed and realized that I need to absorb as much as I can from these guys, whether that was, Cam Dicker, who's now at the Chargers, and he's had a great start to his career. Ryan, who was the punter here for the last couple of years, he's a professional throughout. He just worked so diligently, and was very fortunate to spend a lot of time with his cousin Michael Dixon he's playing up in Seattle. He's, in my eyes, he's the best player to kick a ball like ever. So
yeah, I saw him play in person one time. I'd never been more impressed by a punter in my life.
He's
really
incredible.
exceptional.
And he does it every week up in the wind and the rain up in Seattle, and still is like top 3 in the league. He baffles me. I could talk a lot about Mike, but he's the lessons that those guys have taught me. It's things that I still carry with me today and tomorrow and every day. Like whether that's in the weight room or doing the runs or out there kicking, I've taken so much from them, and really, really indebted to them, because otherwise, if you don't learn from those around you, then you sort of just stagnate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you've worked with a lot of different kickers from different backgrounds. I feel like I guess now the two kind of stereotype kickers are either American soccer player or Australian football player.
Yep.
What would you say is the difference between those? Because are there many of y'all kicking field goals, or is that mainly a soccer thing?
No, it's mainly a soccer thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming there's still soccer players in the punting world too.
Yeah, I think traditionally soccer players would have been either an outfield player that could kick like a goalie where they toss it out a little bit, or they would have just been a straight goalie that had a good leg. But yeah, they're typically taking the field goals and doing the kickoffs, and it's just a much different hip angle and approach to the ball, and that's something that myself and a lot of the other Aussie guys just aren't used to, and can't open up our hip that way and can't approach the ball in that way. So creates a lot of pain and nowhere near as consistent as the other guys. So yeah, I'll let them have that.
Is it just because they're kicking from the ground, so that's why they have more practice of that angle?
Yeah, and they twist a lot. They plant a lot harder. Like their approach and their like last stride to the ball is quite large. And then they plant and all their body weight's on like essentially on their ankle, which is rolled. I just no way I'd do that to myself.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you're also holding. We talked about that a minute ago. How has that been, like, getting used to? Was that something that Prokick taught you, or
a little bit? Yeah, they it's expected that when you come over here that you can hold as well as a punter. That's, I don't know whether that was always the case, but certainly since I've been around college football aspiring guys, it's been the case, and they teach us a bit, but whether that's just, I think a lot of it's just underhand and getting used to being in that stance, and then the first time taking snaps from again, Dan and Austin taking snaps, that was pretty eye opening. You got the helmet on and you can't really see as much, and the ball's coming a hell of a lot faster. But it's something that's second nature. You're down there all the time, and once you get comfortable in yourself, then you're paired with a great snapper. We have a great snapper here, Will. He's a professional as well, and he just puts it where you want it. I don't have to think too much; just catch it and put it down, and the rest is taken care of him. So,
what do you do if you got a guy coming around the edge faster than your kicker's coming in? What's your thought?
My job's just put it down, and
you put it down anyway. You're like, just get it off quick.
Yeah.
You're not pulling it, trying to run.
Mate, no, I'm not under any illusions as to how athletic I am not. So, I will not be taking on any of these guys. I'll just do my job, and if some guy gets lucky and comes off the edge and blocks a field goal, then good luck to him.
All right.
So in the Aussie rules, you don't wear pads, right?
No.
All right. So what was it like the first time you put on football pads? Like, when was it?
Yeah. Like we put on in Prokick, they give us some like eBay hand-me-down pads and helmets just so that we can get a little bit of a feel. But that felt really strange. But coming over here and having things like fit really snug and everything's tailored to you, it was a lot nicer. But still, I think the pads and helmet were fine. It was the tightness of the jersey that was the hardest thing to get used to, because putting that on is an effort in itself. But,
Yeah.
If you wanted a loose jersey, could you get one?
I don't know if that'd look cool. But, I could ask, but
I appreciate, you want to keep the fit looking good.
there's very little that a punter can do to look cool, and I think a loose jersey would not contribute.
Fair enough. So we were talking, changing it a little bit earlier about how you're a little bit older than some of the guys. So what's that been like, both at Texas and SMU, being someone that's a little bit older than most players on the team?
Do they call you dad, like on the team, or like old man?
from day one.
They did. Oh,
really? It was, like I said, when I was down in Austin, I had a couple of guys on the team that were in their fifth year or COVID year, and that was great. It was fun seeing them if we'd go out and get a drink on a Saturday night and see them at the same bar, and I was like, the rest of my teammates couldn't do that. It was interesting. Like, I came in, I'm as a freshman, I attached myself to the guys that I was recruited with, and they're still my best friends to this day. So that was tough, knowing that they were like 18 years old, and I was like, well, see you later, guys. I'm gonna go get a drink or get something to eat downtown, and you guys can stay here in the dorm.
Yeah.
But it's been good. Like, it's fun. I don't know whether they necessarily see me as anyone that's different. I'm still as much of an idiot as they are. So I'm having fun as if I'm 18, 19. It's just, I go home and I don't have the same gadgets and toys that they might. I'm going home and making a latte and chilling out for the day. So little bit different once we leave the building. But
yeah. Well, I mean, we wouldn't have known you were older. I just assumed you were, the same age. So
I don't know. You do look. No, this. I don't hope this is not offensive, but you do look a little older than some of the freshmen coming in. And I'm just throwing.
It's fine. No. Like I said, like I didn't know that the sport was a thing until I was 20, and finished working when I was 21. Got my offer when I was 22. Came to college as a 23-year-old freshman, which is not exactly the timeline that people do it, but
yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, very fortunate to have something to fall back on when all this is done. If I don't want to use the degree, I can go back to the coal mines, I guess. But
the way that sounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving more on to like SMU, what are you feeling like in the building, like the buzz? Because it feels like there's a lot of momentum with the program right now. Have you felt that? Like, what has that been like? How do you feel like the team is feeling about this upcoming year?
Yeah, it's fun, man. It is fun. There's a lot of energy in the whole group. Everyone's excited. Everyone's just wanting the chance to prove that, not that we are acceptable in the ACC, but this team's good enough to do whatever they want in the ACC. And a lot of the team, like I said, has transferred in from big schools. They've had big game experiences. It's a lot of fun, and guys want to compete every day. It's a competition, and it's just fun to be around. Like, it's workouts can get stale if there's too much not even discipline, but like it's like there's a fun, and there's a level of fun, and there's a level of intentionality about everything we do, but at the same time it's like I'm trying to beat the guy next to me, and if I do, I'm going to talk shit. So it doesn't happen often for me, but everyone's just excited, man. We're ready to get to work and go and stake our claim.
Nice.
So you talk about working out and like that being kind of a motivator of like having a great season.
Yeah.
What game in particular Like, will the coaches be like, hey, during this game, we're going to need the extra, 10%? Or is there like one game they use as a motivator, or is it just like, we got to be ready?
I think it's just every week. Every week we have to show up. I think it'd be foolish to look past, first week. Nevada's a strong team in their own right, and when we start looking at games like TCU or Florida State, it's like, well, now we're getting ahead of ourselves. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, first things first, we still have another week of summer workouts where they're going to kick our ass. So get through that, and then we can worry about camp, and then things will start to flow. So there's no one game. It's all about doing the little things right, making the correct choices that'll accumulate and hopefully send us to Charlotte in December. So
I feel like
Awesome.
that's the mentality that you need for a conference champion or whatnot, because I feel like the guys that if you really think that you can win a conference, every game you're looking at, you're like, oh yeah, like this is the one we got to focus on, because you got to win every game to like really get your name in there. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's like the mentality of the program right now.
Yeah.
That we're not striving to get any one win. We're trying to be like, hey, no, we're trying to be ACC champions.
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, and I like the way the schedule's set up this season with the bye weeks being like after every 3 games.
Yeah.
So it gives us time
Yeah.
to like focus one game at a time.
Yeah.
Except for the
absolutely.
like middle 3 games that are back to back to back.
Yeah. Well,
Those are
away
the
too,
3
right?
hardest. No, 2 of them are at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, sorry.
It's okay.
I love the mentality. The mentality's great.
I have
Yes.
one game circled on my calendar, and that's TCU. And we all hate TCU.
Good.
And so,
Yep.
yeah, if you gave us the option of going 1-11 or 11-1, and the 1 being TCU, I'm going to pick the 1-11.
See,
How does that feel as a player?
having
actually-
lived through a 5-7 season, I will not take that. I'd much rather the 11-1. So.
In all
I'm
honesty,
sorry. I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah,
I'd probably
used
agree, but I really hate
Yeah.
TCU.
Really hate TCU.
What's your if you had a tier list of teams that you would just like hate the most? Like I want to be these guys, then it'd be these guys. So you could play your 10 rivals or the 10 that you hate the most. Who'd be the number 1 that you'd want to beat all the way down?
Let's ignore the most obvious one, right?
Well,
You can
I'm,
say
I'm
it.
still going to say Oklahoma. Oklahoma's up there.
Darn.
Yeah.
It's okay. I understand.
I don't know that I like too many teams, to be fair. Like,
Wait, is there a team that you like that's not your own?
I went to Nashville over the May break to look after one of my best mates' dogs, and I was working out at Vanderbilt every day. So I like Vandy.
I feel like they're laid
I was
back.
so disappointed when they pulled the
They got
schedule. They,
scared.
I was pretty
gosh.
bummed
they
too.
bitched out.
They got
Yeah.
scared.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
I was
we
really
were-
pumped to go.
Yeah, we were getting
knew
a
we were gonna
photo
win.
after the game. We were housemates back in Australia when we were training, so we were really looking
man.
forward to it. And then, yeah, I've been giving him shit about them being,
As you should.
yeah,
Being
it's-
afraid of us. Yeah.
I mean, they knew what was going to happen as well. It was,
They did.
Yeah, they can go play some FCS team. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't like OU, A&M, OK State. I don't hate Baylor. I like Baylor a little bit. Soft spot for Baylor. I know it's
My mom's happy.
okay. I just their student section was polite. We were there and they had a cool stadium.
They do have a cool stadium.
Yeah, TCU was cool in some ways, but yeah, I'm not a fan of them.
I have a question. So you mentioned that you don't like A&M, but Texas hasn't played A&M since
Oh,
you
that's
were like
the other one.
13.
Not a huge fan of that school in Austin anymore. So
Oh,
yeah, we'll add that to the list. Yeah.
yeah. But so did you get the A&M hate from just being around Texas guys, because they haven't played each other in over a decade?
Yeah.
And so it's because everyone in the comment boards, like, they say, oh yeah, we don't even think about A&M anymore, but apparently that's not true.
It was a pain. So there's always everyone in Texas, they either go to like one of 3 schools. Usually it's A&M,
Yeah.
UT, or Oklahoma, and
Yeah, they do go up to Oklahoma.
yeah. So there was always people coming from College Station to Austin to party on the weekends, and I'd hate it because they'd be wearing their A&M shirt, like their polo, walking around campus. I'm like,
Asking
dude,
for it.
yeah,
What
leave
are
me
you
alone.
doing?
And then there's always no one ever moves from Austin to A&M. They all move from A&M back to Austin, and
Right.
there's always people with like A&M license plates and stickers on their car, and I just want to throw up every time I see it.
They should be banned.
Yeah, we
Like Australian
we
Punter?
petitioned for we petitioned for TCU, lowercase TCU, stickers, flags, etc., to be banned in the city of Dallas, but the city hasn't listened to us. So We're just taking them off ourselves.
Can I sign that petition? Yeah.
Hey, maybe Eric Johnson loves SMU, so maybe he'll.
Yeah.
So did you hate TCU before you came here to SMU?
No, I thought, like, objectively, I thought they were cool because when you Google teams and you don't have an allegiance to any of them, all you see is their uniforms, and purple's pretty cool. But
No, it's not.
Objectively, I think it's a cool color, but their uniforms are really fallen off. The last
they
couple of
have.
years, they look so ugly now. But
Yeah, they're bad.
They're
They are
some of the worst uniforms.
talked
actually.
about
We
it
talked
last
about this
episode.
just like
Yeah.
a week or two ago. They're like the new blank ones are just
yeah, they're ugly.
Boring.
Boring is a great way
Yeah.
of putting it.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't necessarily hate them.
So you're just
Because
saying,
I was never like a little bit. They were,
I
they
love
were,
it.
They were
I
never
love
like
it.
on the radar. They're so insignificant when you're.
oh yeah,
at
say that
Austin.
again. say that again for the.
They are so insignificant. But it never like. It was
That felt
never
good.
never a
felt
hatred
good.
thing. It was just a
You don't care.
You're not
yeah,
worth
they're
our
like
time.
the cousin that you don't
yeah.
think about.
Yeah, they're not even like the little brother. They're like they're just out of view.
Yeah. But I've
Little cousin. I
I've
A
like
some
little
good
cousin.
friends.
Yeah, that's what we
That's
got.
even better.
but no, been fortunate to have some good friends that have played there. So
That's
they're gonna hate if they listen to this pod, which I'm sure that they will. That they'll
Send
hate
it to them.
hearing that. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, did you have a favorite like road stadium that you went to in the Big 12?
Iowa State was interesting. That
Oh,
was-
really?
Yeah, I hated the state of Iowa and driving around, but
It is
it's
pretty
just
garbage.
flat and
There's
boring. But
nothing there.
the stadium itself was pretty cool. Their student section is insane. Baylor was cool. They had we judge a lot of it based on like the turf and how disgusting it is, or whether the grass is nice. And that was like brand new. It was a really pretty stadium.
Wait, what's the most disgusting turf? I didn't know that was a
It
thing.
used to be Austin's. Like
Really?
yeah, if it's just old and like matted, there's
I thought they would have kept it up because they have so much money down there.
You'd think, but I don't know.
Huh.
I'm not.
Interesting.
Yeah, again, talking about the X years.
Fair enough.
How's our turf?
It's okay. I think that they're looking at they're talking about revamping that, but at the moment they got
Okay.
this big new building at the other end that they got to worry about. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
It's true.
So you say it's like mid tier right now. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
be better later.
yeah, but I'm not worried about it here.
Yeah.
It's got the big
Okay.
pony in the middle. I could care less.
Yeah. So you mentioned the new facility. What do you think of that? How does that compare to like other places? Well, I guess just at Texas, like.
Yeah, no, it's going to be incredible. We've been lucky to take a couple tours through it, and it's going to be really special. They said that the weight room's meant to be bigger than the Dallas Cowboys weight room. So
Wow.
What?
yeah,
I
awesome.
love
It's
this.
We
gonna
are
be
Dallas's
sick.
team now. so-
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true. That is true.
It's cool.
We're
It's
DFW's team.
something befitting of SMU. It's going to be shiny. It's a brand new building. Locker room's meant to be insane. Players' hangout lounge is like this mezzanine that overlooks the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be really pretty, and it opens up in like less than a month now. So we're so
Nice.
excited
Yeah.
to get in there.
That's
Is
awesome.
there a date? Like, do they have a date for you guys?
I think someone was saying the 10th of August, which is like
Okay.
the last week of camp, which would be a nice little reward for us. But yeah,
And you can just go
That's
in there
awesome.
whenever at that point.
yeah, I believe so. I mean, that's the way it.
And you can bring 4 friends in there whenever.
Give him a tour.
Show them around.
A fellow Australian friend.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and his 3 American friends.
That's the way I do it. Whenever I was down in Austin, I'd be like, "Yeah, these guys are from Australia." Like, just they're visiting from Australia. I have to show them around, and I'd bring everyone.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
So yeah, once the new car smell's gone, I'll bring you guys through.
All right. I'll start working on my Australian accent now.
please.
Oh
Please don't.
gosh. Please don't.
I'll just crack it out. I'll just see Isaac just
That's funny.
trying to hide. That's funny. Okay, so somebody else put this on here, but I have to ask because I help lead a youth group with a bunch of middle school and high schoolers, and I saw somebody put here snacks in Australia, Tim Tams. I'm assuming you know what a Tim Tam is.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what a Tim Tam Slam is? Do you guys?
I think that's okay. So I don't think I had a name for it growing up, but I'm pretty sure you bite each end of it and then put it in as a straw
Yes.
for the hot chocolate or something.
Yeah, for the drink. And I
Yeah.
just showed all my kids that they were like, it blew their mind. They were like, they couldn't believe it. And nobody even knew what a Tim Tam was. And they're like
They're
the
so
best
good.
cookies that have
incredible.
ever
They're
been made.
so
Sorry,
good.
what's a Tim Tam?
It's like I think it's like biscuit and then like some kind of chocolate in the middle, then another biscuit coated in chocolate. It's just
It's
like
super rich.
it's like a hug from mum. It's unreal.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's so good. You don't even have to do it in a sweet drink like hot chocolate. You do it in tea, and it's still amazing. You bite the ends off, like he was saying, and you drink the hot drink through it, and it melts the cookie. And before it falls apart, you put it in your mouth, and the cookie just melts in your mouth, and it's the most amazing sensation ever. Like the youth kids had their minds blown.
Yeah.
We just came in with like 6 packages that we found from HEB, and it was.
Oh, they have them. It's because I only know.
They have them at HEB.
Now they do. So when I first about 5 years
Making
ago,
a trip.
No, yeah, it's awesome. And there's an HEB up in Plano. There's one down in Waxahachie. So it's a little bit of a drive for you if you're in downtown.
It's a long walk. Yeah.
It's but they didn't have these in any stores until like 5 years ago. And then we started finding them. We're like, yeah, we're just getting them.
I'll have to get some.
So
My mom
they're
had an
so good.
Australian friend. They sent us some, so that's how I knew what they were. But
They're incredible.
they're so good.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
have to go
what
next time I'm at HEB.
I'd bring them over. I'd smuggle them in my suitcase.
Yeah, you used to have like
yeah, to like, make friends when we got there. I gave some of the equipment stuff when I first got to UT, and just so they'd look after me and dish out the restaurant around my new teammates. It was
Nice.
great.
That's
yeah.
funny.
He's a good friend then, because that is hard to come by. It
Yeah.
used to be really hard to come by. So. Next time we need to bring you on the podcast again. We'll get some. I'll bring them. I'll just have them.
I'm down. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So what do you miss? What else do you miss about Australia?
Yeah. Everything. I'm pretty open. I get homesick in some level like every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is a privilege to feel that way. Not everyone has a great home life or somewhere that they want to go back and visit. So, very, very lucky, very fortunate. But I miss my family, obviously, miss my puppies. But in terms of just like the day to day, I miss the beach, I miss fresh fruit, seafood, good coffee. Sport.
Coffee here in the States isn't good. I don't drink coffee. So.
Yeah, I'd throw it down the toilet. It's not.
All right.
It sucks.
Okay, but what are you? So I don't like coffee, but like I know people that like. There's more of like an artisanal like scene in Dallas rather than like just Starbucks and stuff. So have you tried that kind of stuff, or is that stuff you don't like too, or are you preferring more to
that's closer towards what everything is back home. Everything is like a proper cafe on every every street. There's one, and everyone has their own order, and it's great. Like if you go to a place here and order a cappuccino, there's a 99% chance I'll be disappointed. So there's a couple of really good cafes around here, but they all happen to be Australian owned. So
what's your favorite cafe then?
Island Co is good. LDU Coffee there's one local. I think it's.
I had a buddy that
I've
worked
heard of
there.
that one.
Yeah, that's a good spot. There's a couple. I'm still learning place names. I think it's like Lower Greenville. It's not too bad, but I can't remember the name of that joint.
Yeah.
I didn't know Australian coffee was that good.
I didn't know that
we're
LDU
very
was
snobby,
Australian
yeah.
owned.
Yeah. What, you didn't know LDU is Australian owned?
Yeah, I didn't know it was Australian owned.
Land Down Under?
I didn't know that's what it
Yeah,
stood for.
yeah.
So, because I had a buddy that he only ever referred to it as LDU, and so, but that's actually great.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's good. It's it's something that we're pretty proud of, or pretty pretentious about, but we love our coffee, and just being able to fond memories of just taking the dogs for a walk along the beach, getting a coffee, and having a quick swim.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't do that here.
Beaches, seafood.
Yeah,
Don't go to a Texas beach.
Yeah, my dad says there are no beaches in Texas.
not planning on it. Yeah, I'd rather continue with my saltwater withdrawal than go to a Texas beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
How's a proud Texas?
I was gonna say, have you gone to any other beaches in the U.S.?
I did a road trip with Prokick years ago, and where they sort of bring guys over and show them around the place, and we went to San Clemente and San Diego and Cali, and that was nice because
San Diego's really nice.
San Diego kind of reminded me a bit of home. So yeah, it was good.
What was the biggest, I guess, like culture shock moment moving from Australia to America? And then also after that, like, I'm curious what you think of like American cuisine, fast food, and how that compares to home. I figured that would be the response.
I forget that we're being recorded.
No, just
No,
say it.
you're fine. Like we do, some of it's trash, most of it's trash. So we don't like. I like junk food, but I know it's garbage. So
Biggest culture shock. Initially, it was like just how I say my name. You guys say it a little bit differently. I say Isaac, and you'll say like
Oh,
Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac.
and it feels like I'm chewing on the word when I say it like that. But I can't put my name down for any order without sounding differently. And the really creative ways that I've seen it written in the past have blown me away. So it's usually a vocal thing. Like I'll speak and someone will tell me that I'm mumbling or that I'm not really saying any words correctly, and I have to really slow it down and pronounce each word individually. And, but other than that, like it's fairly similar to back home. There's just so many people here, and it's a very competitive lifestyle here. Like everyone's always out doing something. Which is great, but definitely used to a lot of people just chilling out and taking it easy. But
Dallas, probably Austin, same. Maybe not as much, but people are not slow here.
Everything's fast paced.
You have to fight. You have to fight to like rest, which is really important, and we're struggling with that too. Like it can be hard sometimes.
Part of it's just the big city. I mean, you go into the smaller towns.
Yeah,
you will get more of that. But
slower.
here in DFW, Austin, I mean Houston, I mean San Antonio's a little bit slower than the other major metros, but it's still. I mean, these are major metros, so you're just gonna have that.
Yeah, but in terms of the fast food, there's a lot that I like in the moment, and then afterwards I'm like, I feel like a piece of shit. Like I should have eaten that.
I feel that way all the time.
Yeah, but Texas
Instant
barbecue,
regret.
Tex-Mex, incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Went to Pecan Lodge in I think it's like Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
So good.
That
dude.
was sensational. So
Yeah.
that was like I went there on the 4th of July with my buddy that flew over from Australia for some business, but that was unreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Tex-Mex is pretty good. We don't have any surprising to a lot of guys that we don't have any Mexican food back in Australia. And I was like,
Why is that surprising?
I'm Hispanic, so I'm hurt by that. I'll have to go. Maybe I need to move and start a Mexican restaurant.
I'm sure y'all's
There's a
Asian
need
food
for
is
that.
a lot better than ours.
yeah, we have a lot of authentic Asian food, a lot of authentic
Wait,
Indian
Panda
food.
Express is an authentic Asian food?
I'm
mind blown. Payway's there though, right? I mean, Payway's.
You're killing him. You're killing him right now.
But no, it's really tough. Like the treat whenever we were growing up was Dad would take us to like one of the good like Indian restaurants in town, and looking for a really good Indian restaurant here is pretty tough. So
You can find probably not in Dallas,
Not
but
in
some of the
Dallas.
suburbs. They're all
Irving is that's where I live.
There's a lot of Indian communities
yeah.
in the DFW area.
which I'm looking forward to finding some good food soon. So
You will have to go to the suburb, like you said. Like Irving, I mean, if you want to get real Chinese food, you got to go north towards. I mean, the old Chinatown used to be in Richardson, now it's in Plano, and there's some good authentic stuff up there. But you just have to go a little further out.
no, it's all good in the moment. It tastes delicious at the time. So it's just afterwards I definitely I didn't eat for a day and a half when I had all the barbecue the other day. So
What about like fast food like Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, stuff like that?
Chick-fil-A I have a bit of a gripe with. I love the food, the chicken, but like you don't put any sauce on the burgers to begin with. They make you do it yourself, and I don't like that. Yeah, and pickles and chicken.
They don't go together, right?
I like it.
You do?
Yeah,
I don't
I never
I don't
understood
either.
why it was on.
I always
there.
order no pickles.
Yeah, me too.
man, I'm alone here.
I didn't know that people liked it either.
I mean, clearly it's popular if they do it.
That is.
I just like.
I just
pickles.
felt like people just don't.
I don't like pickles.
comment.
So.
They're just they just take it.
Yeah, and I mean, they would cater that all the time after games, and you bring back your Chick-fil-A, take the pickles off, and away you go. But no sauce on burgers. I think that the KFC here kind of sucks compared to back home. Same with the McDonald's. I think just quality of produce, maybe.
Yeah. Not
But
good.
I mean,
fair.
other than that, like the fast food here is good. It ticks every box that you want it to at the time,
In the
and
moment?
then in the moment, and
And then you feel sick. Yeah.
you feel
yeah.
like a grub afterwards. But that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
And speaking of American things, what was your first rodeo like?
I really wanted to go to a small town rodeo for the first time, and then in the middle of fall camp, I think it was 2 years ago, they had the PBR come to Austin at the Moody Center, which was one of the first shows they had there, and so the whole team went. And that was really cool seeing like the pros do it. They had Kane Brown as the opening act, which was
Nice.
pretty cool in itself. But the rodeo was intense. I had we started off really hot. Like the first guy had like a perfect ride, and then everything else after that, like these guys were struggling. But it was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's the funny part of it. It's like you go to the rodeo. Normally, if you go to a full rodeo, the bull riding's the last part, and everyone's hyped for the bull riding, and then everyone goes in like last 3 or 4 seconds, and then sometimes no one even rides, and so it's like.
But no,
It's really
I went in my cowboy boots. I went in my hat. It was
All right.
I kitted out, man. Yeah.
So, do you know much about like Australian rodeo or?
No.
Okay.
It's. I think that's pretty. I don't know what the word is, but that's pretty separate. Like 98% of the country lives within half an hour of the beach. If you're
Really?
if you're taking a rodeo, then you're probably one of those guys that has one of the farms bigger than states, bigger than countries. So
I feel like a lot of Americans assume it's more like Alice Springs. Like they just assume like Australia is more like
yeah, it's
Outback Bush.
not the case. There's like, I think there's like 7 big cities and a few smaller cities, but other than that, like everyone's just around the coast. Everything in the middle is just cattle stations and desert. So yeah.
And when you get a chance, look up Kai Hamilton. He's like one of the best bull riders right now.
I was thinking Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, I was
Oh.
like, I know that name. Man.
Yeah, Kai Hamilton. He had a crazy performance at the National Finals Rodeo last year. He fell off a bull, like spun up in the air, like landed, had to go to the hospital. I think he broke something, and then the next night he's like riding a bull again. It's pretty crazy.
intense.
But
These guys are
he's
insane.
Australian. So
Yeah.
he's a
Tough
great
breed.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
Exactly.
play cowboy poker?
I'm not sure what that is.
It's maybe Jay should explain it because he's more on the rodeo scene.
I've never seen it actually played
Oh,
live
really?
before.
You'll never. Okay, so they got you basically have a bunch of cowboys in the ring, and they'll be sitting on a chair, and they'll unleash a bull that's ticked off, and the last one to get off of his chair gets the money, and so the bull will literally charge them. And you try to sit on your chair while the bull is charging. You try to wait it out as long as you can and hope that you don't get like run over.
That's insane.
And the last one wins money. So
Yeah, in the chance that coaches or family are listening, I will not be partaking in that. But maybe one day when I have no responsibilities athletically or intellectually, then maybe I'll try that.
I have a random question, but what do you think of like, because like people in America, when like somebody from Australia comes over, like it's super sexy when they like talk and stuff. Like, no, I'm not.
Wait, Isaac, say something for
I'm
us.
not.
I want to
I'm
hear.
asking like what you thought of like American accents. Like, I guess you kind of get normalized to it eventually, but like I've heard like when I met a guy from Australia, he's like, "Oh, your accent's so cool," and I was like, "I don't think I have an accent."
Yeah, we're like acclimatized to it really early. All of our big TV shows, movies, music, everything comes from here. So you'll think that you don't have an accent, but then to me, everyone sounds a bit silly. So
Yeah.
I'm used to it. It's only when you get like someone with a really southern accent or one of the guys at Texas had a real like Louisiana accent or someone else.
Those are different.
Yeah, like someone's got like a Florida accent. It's just different, and you pick up on that and you have to listen a little bit closely. But yeah, everyone sounds reasonably familiar anyway. Yeah,
Any good accents on our team right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
mine. Yeah, none that stand out. Yeah,
Okay.
trying to think. Jafari Harvey's got a nice accent. He's a Miami boy, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't say Miami. He's South Florida, not Miami. I need to make that distinction for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have
So-
you?
I was going
Go
to
ahead.
say for Ben's thing, nobody's told you that you got a sexy accent or anything? Nobody's come up and said that?
Maybe not that way.
Maybe somebody did.
I don't know. I'm plead the fifth.
Okay.
Okay,
Put the mom's
that's an answer. Have you? This is a stupid question, but I was gonna ask if you've ever boxed a kangaroo. Obviously, you haven't. Have you?
No, don't say obviously you haven't. You gotta.
It's because I've
lean
seen the
into that
videos,
kind of
and they're
question.
just kangaroos are so much weirder than like they look so weird. But I've seen like stupid people boxing kangaroos, which obviously I know
They're
is
gonna
really
get kicked.
dangerous.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
am.
seen a kangaroo, met a kangaroo.
As much as I am a stupid person, I'm not about to go and fight a kangaroo. They're very docile. They're pretty skittish.
Okay.
When the dirt changes from grey dirt to red dirt, you see the change in the kangaroos, and the big reds are the ones that you see the people fighting. They're like 6 foot tall and could knock me out. But
That's insane.
Kings
They
could
look
kill you.
ripped too.
yeah,
Oh,
they
they
are
are.
kids, man. But no, I've
benching. Yeah.
hit plenty of kangaroos in cars. Unfortunately, when I was driving to and from the mine was like a 60-mile drive, and then when you're working at the mine site, you're driving around in a truck and they're just everywhere. So yeah. Unfortunately, they're a bit like deer. They just hang out near the road and jump in front of cars as much as they like. But
since we're talking about this, I just want to plug here. My family's closest friends in Australia had 2 Joeys as pets.
oh, I love that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
love that.
like Reds, Joeys. It was wild.
Joey was naming my first dog.
Yeah?
Yeah. Love that.
Nice.
So what do you think about all the Australian stereotypes we've been throwing at you? Do you get
Oh, yeah,
annoyed?
we're
Do you get
just-
annoyed with those?
No, it's
you get used to it eventually.
yeah,
I guess,
it comes with
probably.
the territory. It's something that I've become used to. It started off as a bit annoying, and then I was like, oh, I can't really escape it, so
No.
I've got to just.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Walker's
it's-
apologizing as he looks at me. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah,
He's Australian. What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, come on. I'm not even stereotyping here,
Yeah,
guys.
but no, it's an everyday thing. Someone will make fun of something I say, or I get told that I mumble if I am not speaking as clearly as I could be, and I'm just used to it at this point.
Yeah.
So take it as it comes, and try not to take it too seriously, because
Yeah.
otherwise, I'd be pretty miserable if I'm getting picked on every day.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, when I go, like, when I've been up to, like, the Northeast or, like, out of the country, tell people I'm from Texas, they're like, you ride a horse? Like,
Oh, I've had that. Somebody so I did ballroom dance at SMU. The team captain came up to me and she was like, yeah, when I came here, I thought everyone rode horses to SMU. And I was like, what?
yeah, and they're like, where's your accent? Where's your cowboy hat?
Yeah,
Why aren't you
yeah.
wearing cowboy boots? I was like,
It's at home.
I live
It's at home, yeah.
I live in Dallas. Like,
Yeah. What do you like to do outside of football? I think I saw that you play golf.
Yeah, not well at
Yeah.
all.
That's
I don't
most
think
of
any of us.
That's
playing-
most of us.
Yeah. It's a pastime.
I love it because I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I've played a couple times with a bunch of the guys, and it's been great, but I don't know if I'll make the mistake of playing with Carter Campbell or Jake Bailey again. They kicked my ass for a couple of hours.
That's funny.
But no, like I went with Preston and his older brother Parker, and they were a little bit more my speed, and we had a good time. But yeah, played a little bit of golf. Really not great at it, but I enjoy it, and it's just good to get outside. Back home, I'd love just going on the beach and camping and fishing or whatever, but not too much opportunity for that
Yeah.
here, nor is there a whole lot of time to be doing that. So
Yeah.
honestly, my days are spent, go practice, go punt, and chill out. Maybe go to the pool, make a coffee, and just hang out. Like I'm not too much I'm doing these days. Like it's pretty focused, I guess. But
Yeah.
You got a lot on your plate.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't need to be going out and spending money doing nothing that's gonna
Yeah.
put me forward in a better light. So I'm just gonna chill out and enjoy myself in the best way I can.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time that's kicking a ball. So
How big of a thing is that? You just mentioned like you don't want to do anything that puts you in like a bad light, essentially. How big of like a thought is that with you and the team, just like players in general, just thinking about we need to make sure that we're not doing anything that could hinder our image that pulls away from football?
that's a great question. I'm not sure that it's been addressed officially, but it's I'd say it's in the back of everyone's minds. It's when you buy into something, it's not necessarily you putting yourself in there to buy in for yourself. It's putting yourself in there to buy in for the rest of the guys around you. So yeah, I don't necessarily think I'm not going to go out and party because I don't want to do it. I'm going to do it because I don't want to let my teammates down on Monday or Tuesday or whatever. So I mean, guys still have fun and enjoy themselves, but we're all trying to do our best this year. So I imagine everyone has a different idea of what that looks like to themselves, and just try and
Sounds like they're having fun at OSU.
And Georgia. Georgia's had 19 DUIs since that accident where somebody died, and they just had 2 more this week. The day before, they had somebody come in and give them a talk on not drinking and driving, and the next day, 2 more guys got busted. Like,
That's insane.
What Mike
It's
Gundy
crazy.
said, I was
Was
like, this.
Oh, yeah.
guy is-
I mean, I've probably done it 1,000 times. I just got lucky.
was hilarious.
and then
I was
afterwards,
like, yo.
and then he tried to like, it was just,
So stupid.
My God,
Yeah.
man.
That guy's a goon.
What a guy.
yeah.
I can't imagine what the cop was thinking, man. Like, you're gonna arrest the only like the bell cow back of the team in the small town of Stillwater. Like, it's not like he's able to blend in. The guy's a unit. Like, who are you confusing him with? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that would have been strange.
Oh man, yeah, I have no idea.
You so we've talked a little bit before about football. I want to get back to football a little bit. What do you do to the balls that you're kicking? Like, do you have a special kicking ball?
I'm reading this question.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't phrase it the same way.
Let me
Just read exactly what you wrote.
Read it verbatim.
How do you like your balls?
Question mark. That's it.
Yeah, you just gotta leave it there.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, I was bitching about this with Preston the other day. I complimented him on how he likes it, but I made sure to tell him, do not change it. Like, they've got to be soft enough that it's round and it's not square or pointed at the end, because everything that isn't completely round is going to affect the flight. If the leather is too new, then it's probably going to sting when you kick it. You're not going to want to kick it as hard, because something about like the human mind won't let you kick something if it's going to hurt. So. But it can't be too new that it's like too broken in that it's deteriorating, because then it doesn't want to fly as far either. So it's got to be, the seams have to be broken. Like, if I'm looking at that ball there, the seams would need to be broken a bit more. Each point would need to be rounder. The general ball shape would be rounder, but the leather condition itself is probably not too far from being, usable in my eyes. It needs to be still new, but yeah, not, out the box. Anything out the box is like nightmare fuel.
How do you make it rounder? Because this used to be an actual game ball.
Yeah, kick the shit out of it.
So you just
kick it over and over again. When it's brand new, it'd be like deflated like that, and we'd use the edge of a table, and I'd get like a brush, and I'd deflate it right down, coat it in shaving cream, brush it a little bit off after a few hours, throw it in the dryer with a bunch of towels, and just like let it knock around a bit. Do that a couple of times and it'll start to come good. And
So are you doing that to the footballs that you're going to use in the game?
Well, I don't know how it happens here at SMU. Ryan and Preston had a pretty good system going last year. Ryan was kicking some nice juicy footballs last year. But like, kicker gets no say really. It's all about what P2 wants.
So are you using the same footballs that Preston's using?
Yeah, so I think it's the start of the game you have to give 6 balls to the officials, and they have to be within a certain, they can't be like, one's a brand new quarterback ball, the other one's like this weathered dead like kicker ball. They have to be pretty similar. And it just so happens that Preston has his head switched on and likes the footballs the right way. Young Kevin, on the other hand, likes the ones with the stitches and like around the white stripe, and I'll fight him if he wants to switch footballs. So yeah, it's just the little things. We're all pretty pedantic about it.
I didn't know that there was so much that went into
me neither.
Yeah.
like the condition of the ball. That's really interesting.
Like if it's every change to the football changes where the sweet spot is, how you hit it, how it flies through the air, how like forgiving it is. So the older balls, the rounder balls, tend to be much more forgiving, but they won't have the same amount of pop. If it's too pointy at the end, really fat in the middle, it's really hard to find the sweet spot that'll get it. Like, it might be really easy to throw because it's smaller at the ends, but it's going to be really hard to hit the sweet spot. So yeah, we want something that's really uniform the whole way around, and I don't know, just nice. When you pick up a good ball, it's like you cradle it, go to sleep. It's Mum and Dad all attest to this. I used to sleep with the football till I was like 16, 17. So
Wow.
That's funny.
In Australian rules.
yeah, it
ball?
was Australian football. Yeah.
Did the Texas quarterbacks, did they have good balls?
It started out.
There's no
How
other
do
way
you
to
want
word
me to
that.
answer
I was like, I'm just gonna lead it to it. Just say it.
Yeah. So I mean, freshman year they were the old style footballs, like similar to that, which is great. They had that for like 10 years, which is that's the best kind of football that they can use in college football. And then when Sark made the change from what that is to what they used at Alabama, where it's a bit more pointy at the ends, around the middle, and they have the stitching. I mean, all the kickers were complaining. It was just a very different ball to kick. It does impact performance as much as some people say that it doesn't, even if it impacts your mental performance because you don't want to kick the same ball if you know that it's not going to go as far, or that you got to work harder to find the sweet spot. You got to change something in your swing. It's something that we think about that no one else really does, and we can complain all day, but no one cares.
This is news to me that there are different types of footballs.
Oh yeah,
in college.
Yeah,
I thought they all use the same.
No, so that was the other thing that I was looking at when I was transferring. Was what football is being used at which school, because I was not going to go to another one that used an inferior football because it ultimately would translate to inferior performance. So if you're an Adidas school, you use an Adidas ball.
Oh, okay.
Under Armour ball, and Nike has like a few different variations of football coming out, and that's the cream of the crop, thankfully. So
You say Nike.
I do. I don't say Nike.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Wait, what?
So Australians say Nike.
Which ball is this one?
That's the top tier. That's the best ball in college. Yeah.
Okay.
Nike Vapor Elite.
The Vapor Elite. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the bad one that they used at UT?
So they put Vapor Elite on it, but it was essentially just a Vapor One, which is what a lot of the high school teams would use. It's got like the like stitch pattern around either side of the white stripe, really thick stitch pattern. It's really pointed each end, fat in the middle. Doesn't like to be kicked.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, frustrating. Yeah, if you Google it,
So the Longhorns are using high school balls now.
No, don't tell me.
Oh,
Don't put that in my mouth, man. I'm trying really hard.
I'm just
Longhorns are using
Footballs.
Man.
Yeah.
football.
Just say footballs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That time it wasn't even intentional, but
It just came out.
Came out. I was just,
Okay. So what do you think about the college football fan base, and is there anything comparable to what you have back home?
I love college football's fan base, and I don't think that there's anything like we have our days that are at its peak as good as what it is in college, but this is every week and it's all around the country. So, I mean, like when you talk about Australian sport, there's a great level of like consistency in the fan base and the supporters, but it's not 100,000 people or 50,000 people at these. Even SMU is like 35,000. They pack it out. Like it's not. We have tremendous supporter base, but we'd have like our big days on like the championship game, end of the year, the grand final we call it, or the Boxing Day test for cricket. Like those things are really important to us, and we'll get 100,000 people to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's so different. My old man said that college football ruined live sport for him because he's not going to go to a game unless it's college football now. So he loves it. It's
some of the craziest fans, that's for sure.
And I think because we're all like we went to SMU versus like I even think college is so much better here than pro sports. Like we can go to a Cowboys game. Like we live in Dallas, but like none of us have like a real connection. Whereas SMU, like we went there.
You sit there and you golf clap, but you're not in it the same way.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right.
Like, I don't think the atmosphere at professional like football or basketball is the same. Yeah, but I don't think it's the same as like a college football game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
tradition, pageantry, like everything about college football
for sure.
Yeah.
Like I think another like European soccer.
Yeah,
I also think is also just like
it's
insane.
Yeah,
it might actually be a little bit better than college football, which is crazy because college football is probably it's 1B. It's like 1A, 1B.
I want to go see the South American football.
I bet that's pretty rowdy too.
Yeah, like people like dying in the crowd every week, just getting trampled. I'm like, that looks insane.
You lose the game for your team, you get death threats. Type it's that kind of stuff.
What was it like 2014? There was the referee stabbed a player, and so they cut off his head after the game. Like I want to go see that. What game is that intense that it warrants that response? So,
yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to go see something like that.
to American football, do your parents ever make it out to a game? Since I don't know if we can put that on you, that part in a short, maybe.
Yeah.
Walker's like, I'll do it.
Yeah, so my mum hasn't been over here yet. She got stuck looking after the dogs. It was originally the first time like my family came over was in Austin. Dad came over and then my brother tagged along, and then his girlfriend at the time was like, I'm not letting you go to the States alone with your idiot brother. Like that's probably not a good idea. And then my sister thought, well, she's going, like, I'm going too. So mum was stuck looking after like everyone's dogs, and she does a great job with everything. So she hasn't been over to see, unfortunately. I think that she's planning on making a mad dash over for whatever bowl game we play in this year, hopefully, or for graduation in May. But it's a busy time for her with work in in season. But Dad is coming over for TCU and Florida State, and he's bringing one of his good mates. So
Nice.
That'll be fun.
It'll be
Those
fun.
are good ones. Yeah.
If you need somewhere to sit, just send him over to us. We'll wave him down. We'll
Yeah.
Yonnic,
Good luck
I don't think
after.
you'll have any trouble getting tickets.
we'll take them to Outback.
There we go. We'll take them to Outback and we'll tell them
Yeah.
that we have some real authentic food for you to try.
They're all in on like eating as much American stuff as they can, just going back like with every story, every experience.
That's
so
cool.
yeah, it'll be good.
So one thing you talked about was Madden played a role in you wanting to play American football. How excited are you for NCAA football?
So excited, man. Yeah,
You're-
I can't
we're-
wait. So
You're in a
5 days
video
away or
game,
something
dude.
like that.
yeah, I'm in a video game, which is crazy.
Which I guess you'll be on Texas for this version, right?
No,
No.
It's for the upcoming
it's
season.
the upcoming season.
Yeah, it's the upcoming season.
I'm
I'm a pony, man.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mustang. I like Mustang. It
I
sounds
like
great.
I
Pony-
like him
Pony's
both.
good.
Yeah,
Pony is fine.
Well,
But,
we'll make sure when we play as SMU, because we don't know the depth chart, that you'll be our punter.
yeah. I think I'm.
Although I
think
guess maybe
unfortunately I'm the only one that made it in.
Are you really?
Oh, okay.
All right.
But,
So they signed everybody. Like, I think everyone got the deal, but they only put like 85 people or something like that on the
Oh.
roster.
yeah,
And there's 120, right, or something like that usually.
yeah, something like that. And I think it comes down to they've only gone 3 deep at like positions. So
okay.
some guys, might be on scholarship at certain spots, but aren't getting put in if they're
Oh, dang.
fourth on the depth chart.
That's tough.
So,
That sucks.
but yeah, I'll
Imagine
be in a
being that
video
guy.
game, man.
Do you ever
It's
rip
so
the
cool.
other guys and you're like, yeah.
No, I'm gonna wait to see how low my rating is first before I talk shit. So,
What's your estimated rating? If you put a rating on yourself right
like
now,
that.
what would it be?
like 50, man. I don't know. Like you can't compare me to like some of these like actual players out here. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I saw Logan was like top 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, Logan and I go way back, obviously. So that was really cool to see some justice.
Okay. This question I had put, and I didn't know if I wanted to ask it, but it kind of sort of came out of your mouth. What do you say to those people who say that punters and kickers aren't even real football players? And that's mostly, he said that before.
What?
I'm just kidding. He did.
I was like, what are you talking about? Throw me under
So
the...
if you guys have seen Caleb Presley, he always asks questions like that.
I love
As a
Caleb
joke.
Presley, man. He's man. I invite anyone to come and do the workouts. Like, it's not like we're not running and lifting with the rest of the guys. Like, I was doing the team run that we did yesterday and kicked my ass just the same as it did like the rest of the players. So, yeah, I'd invite them to come and check it out. Like, yeah, we don't do as much during fall camp, and we only like when we're needed. When we're not. So, yeah, but I mean, we're still getting up, we're still running, we're still lifting like the rest of them. Yeah, it burns me a little bit, but at the same time, like I didn't play college. I didn't play American football before college,
Yeah.
so like I can't really take too much offense to it.
No, that's a good answer. I like it.
Are the team runs brutal? Like, what are they like?
I mean, they're not fun, but
Yeah.
it's a really good challenge. Like, it's something that I don't have to like mentally prepare for the Monday through Thursday workouts. Like, I look forward to them because you're conditioned for it, and you know what's coming, and then it gets to Friday and you're like, yeah, okay, this is going to be a bit of fun. Like, gotta summon up some sort of toughness and just get through it. And yeah, like, you look forward to the endorphin rush, but at the moment that you're in it, it's not much fun. You're just trying to not survive, but do it correctly. Because if you stuff it up, then you start again. And the last thing that any punter or kicker wants to be accused of is doing something incorrectly that will cost the team. So that's that's like where the most anxiety comes from. Is like, don't mess up this drill, and don't let the DBs catch you slacking.
Yeah.
Do you feel like punter is a somewhat thankless job? Like, you do it right, everyone's like, all right, but then if you do it wrong, everyone like gets really upset? Or do you get like any props when you give a good punt? Like, do people are like, yeah, like, good job? Yeah,
they recognize. I think that more so than me, like, Will is a he's the only long snapper that I know to score a touchdown, but he still gets nowhere
That's
near
a good
enough.
claim to fame.
Yeah, nowhere near enough recognition. He does a great job, and if I do an okay job, then that's great. Like, it's not about my individual performance, how much it helps the other guys that are running on the field. So, if like, of course, I want to hit bombs and put the ball where I want it to, but if it doesn't help the team, then it's kind of useless. So I'm just if I get recognition out of putting the ball in a good spot and puts our defense in a good spot to thrive, then that's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, I think you've come at a good time too. It's like Pat McAfee's kind of really changed people's impression of kickers.
Oh yeah.
So I never thought about it, and I don't think I heard much other than hating on them when they miss, the game-winning field goal, or they, the punt goes wrong or whatever. But I think Pat McAfee's really shined a positive light on kickers, and so I think a lot of people's opinion has changed because of that.
I love Pat McAfee, man. He's a
Serena
he's
Williams
a hilarious guy, but like you said, he's spun a different light on it, and more people are privy to, I guess, what we go through, and like it is high pressure. Like punting less so than kicking. Like I'm never going to win a game because I don't put points on the board, but like it's still like it's very tricky like skill. It's not it's not something that's practiced often by other people. So if you don't need a good one till you need a good one. Yeah.
And I think you're at a good place that will appreciate a good punter because, 4 to 5 years ago, one of our safeties was our punter.
Oh,
Yeah.
We lost games because our special teams was so bad. So
we could have won Memphis.
We know what it's like to have bad special teams, and so I think we'll appreciate good special teams.
I remember that was can't remember his name, but he was like 6'2", 240 or something. He was a big boy. I remember watching it because that was when they were first reaching out, and I was like buying in. I was like watching each game. Like
you were probably
You're
like, I could beat this guy.
team.
I was like, that's tough to watch. But that was like Shane Bichelle was leading that revolution, and so
and it wasn't his fault. Like he was a safety. He was supposed
it's not
to be
his
punting.
job, man. But like that goes to show how tricky it is.
Coach
Trevor Dimbo.
That's right. Yeah.
What happened that year? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but we didn't have a good kicker either. Like we could remember our kickoffs, we would kick to like the 40-yard line. They would get short field every time.
It was really
so
weird.
bad.
It was so
all we
frustrating.
needed to do was kick it out of the back of the end zone or near the end zone.
But we couldn't.
Or out of bounds.
Is that all?
Or
Yeah.
all you got to do is just send it into the stands.
I would have taken kicking it out of bounds anywhere over what was happening.
Yeah, I don't remember watching kickoffs too much, but
it was
in 2019.
terrible.
We were on College Game Day. I don't know if you knew about that. At Memphis.
Yeah.
It was like the biggest game that we had ever played in
For like 20
a while,
years.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost by 6 or 8 points, something like that.
Yeah,
and they had 2 kickoffs run back for touchdowns because they were just like awful.
But even tackle either.
But even then, every single one, the kickoff would go to like the 20 or 30, so they'd automatically be at the 40. It's like, well, our defense can't really do much. Like we give them 30 yards, they're in field goal range. So
I say, all you have to do is kick out of the back of the end zone. That's easier said than done.
Like
but
75 yards. Yeah.
yeah.
Easy.
But it was pretty infuriating. Like watching, the year before we could do it, the year after we could do it, but at that time,
for some
it was
reason,
just
can you imagine that'd be frustrating.
I definitely like, especially doing this podcast, I've really enjoyed being able to get the perspective of some of the other positions that maybe you don't focus on when you're watching the game.
Yeah.
And you don't really know much about. Like, I really enjoyed learning more about punting and like what role that plays and like what it takes to get there, and like, interviewing people on the O-line and like stuff like that. It's been cool because those guys, I mean, they are underappreciated players on the team, and they still play a huge role.
Right.
And so I think it's pretty cool to
like you said, you can't
hear about that.
win a game punting, but you can definitely lose a game punting. And so
Absolutely.
And I think that's true of a lot of positions.
Yeah.
If you don't perform, you can blow it, and you got to give, like you keep saying, set yourself up for opportunity to help your team perform well.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people who, if they don't perform well, they set their team up for failure.
Yeah. And like what you do sets up the defense to like do their job.
Absolutely.
And gives them a better chance.
I love those guys, so I want to do my best for them. Like I don't want McGill's struggling because he's got 20 yards to defend. I want to give him like the whole field and give him heaps of room, and let them put the pressure on the offense rather than the other way around. So yeah.
Do you find yourself vibing more with the defense just because those are the guys you're helping out, as opposed to the offense? Is like we don't want to have to use you, or is it not really?
No, it's a mix. So I was fortunate to be put in classes when I got here with a lot of the guys that are a bit older. So Jonathan McGill, Jake Bailey, Jafari, Jo, like these guys that are a little bit older, a little bit more experienced. So I got a good mix straight away, and we lift and run with the skill positions. So like those guys in general, like Preston, Kev, they're great. LJ, Rooster, like these guys that you just see all the time. B Cross is in a bunch of my classes. Like it's just great. So it's not like I'm leaning towards one group, because I get the best of both worlds, I guess, and I get to be an idiot with all of them. It's good.
That's cool.
Well, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This has been awesome.
Of course.
I think this is our longest recording ever.
Yeah, I know we keep going longer and longer, but these conversations are so interesting.
Yeah,
and
it's
so,
such a good time.
We really appreciate it. And so, so glad that you're at SMU. He's really excited for the season. So.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, you got
Plug out. Yeah.
your merch.
You want to beg for NIL?
You got a merch line?
No, I
Any
don't have a merch
NIL
line.
deals?
No NIL, because foreign can't be doing that stuff. So
Oh, really?
Can you not make any money?
no, you can't make money unless it's through the university scholarship. Like I can work
Wait.
like 20 hours a week on campus.
If I want an Isaac jersey, I can't get one?
I don't know. They didn't let me do it at Texas. Some schools will let you do it.
The money may
And-
not go to him though.
Yeah, I don't care. I'd rather my family be able to buy an authentic jersey. But that team down in Austin didn't want to approve that. So
Dang.
I hope that they change it for this season. Saves mum and dad buying a jersey from.
Well, I guess now you can
Thailand,
be you can be an employee of the university as a player, basic, or like, because was it that court case?
They're trying to get there, I think,
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
considered
You could
employees.
work 20 hours a week and get paid a lot per hour.
It has to be an award rate. The visa is very, very strict on that.
Dang.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be the issue.
Yeah, a
Moving
one-way
from an-
ticket to deportation.
That's so tough.
Okay, what if you can share your address so we can drop off some Tim Tams at your house? That would be a good way to support him, right? From HEB.
Let's put it on the let's put it on the YouTube.
yeah,
No,
let's
don't do
publish
that.
that everywhere.
Yeah.
Great idea.
We'll make a short of it.
Thank
Isaac's
you.
address.
Hey, we know what complex he lives in, right? We can just. I actually don't even remember what you said.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
We
it's
don't-
not-
yeah.
Oh no,
We
that
don't
might
need
have
to
been
know
it.
that.
No, I wasn't gonna say it.
So, how are you in the game then?
So that was the other thing. Like we emailed back and forth with EA, and they were like, "Yeah, this is all above board." And I was like, "Okay." So I think somehow they've transcended it and gone above and beyond. But
Good.
yeah, I didn't read too much into it. They just said I was approved, and I was like, "Sweet."
I think you're.
like
It's what, $500 or something like that.
And
yeah,
a-
$600.
copy.
Okay.
I couldn't have cared if I got the $600 or not. That's not.
Just to be able
Yeah.
to watch
Yeah.
yourself in a video game.
Yeah,
is
like-
sweet.
There's no guarantee that me or any of the guys will be in Madden, but like I'll hold on to that forever. I'll
Yeah.
never play another video game in my life. Like,
Are you gonna ever throw away like you're playing as SMU, you're playing as Preston for it's
Yeah, I was gonna
throw it
say-
away 3 times real
Yeah,
quick so you can punt for yourself.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like you don't even try to
third
win.
quarter, I'll pull press and I won't play Kev. I'll just
Just put yourself
Just
in
like
as
run
quarterback.
fullback dives for 1 yard.
Yeah, for 1 yard.
Yeah.
That just
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the plan.
Well, everybody follow Isaac on Instagram, Twitter.
make him famous.
No Twitter anymore. I got
Oh.
rid of that nonsense.
he's
Too much Texas crap. So
He's done with Twitter.
yeah,
Hear ya.
just
Fair
Instagram.
Instagram's cool. Yeah.
Sweet. And cheer 'em on at the games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be screaming.
Screaming up
is kicking the ball.
You guys might be the only ones.
You need to
but-
like dribble the ball when you run out onto the field. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
do
looks
that.
that
Yeah.
looks cool.
Yeah, I can teach you guys how to do that one day.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yes.
It's so much easier than you think, but
It looks cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
good.
My goal is to find him at one of the games now. Like get him to see us in the stands.
Yeah,
What number are you
We
wearing?
are sitting
49.
way up.
49.
49,
Okay.
yeah, same
Got
number as I was down in Austin. So lucky that I got to hang on to that because it'll look cool in the man cave one day having a couple of different jerseys with my number on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Looking
Heck
forward to
yeah.
that.
Speaking of jerseys, which one's your favorite? Real quick. Of
of the-
SMU's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blue Dallas.
Blue
Yeah.
Dallas.
I like the white Dallas, but the blue with Dallas looks so clean. Yeah.
That's a win.
That's Ben's
That's a
side.
win for
Yeah.
the good
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, that,
I like that.
We had the argument about that. Which one's the best? Is we thought the white, but
I said
Well,
blue.
that was the first one that was introduced with the Dallas script, right?
It was, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks really cool. But I like the blue's a really nice color
Yeah.
compared to wearing burnt orange
Wearing it
for
right
a few
now.
years. It's
It's
hard to
one of
wear
the
that
nice
around
colors.
in like casual wear. Put it that way.
Yeah. Fair.
Doesn't fit much. Anyway,
Well, sweet, man. Thanks for being on the
Thank you
podcast.
so much for
man.
having me, guys. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Shoot us a message if you want a hat.
Leave a voice memo.
Yeah, on Spotify. Yeah. Thanks for listening to the Mustang Mood.
In the big D.
The Big D.
Pony up.